Welcome to UC Riverside's Gluck Fellows Program of the Arts. This is Vogue with me, Cuauhtemoc Miranda, also known as Dante Loren of the Department of Dance. So, what is Vogue? Vogue, also known as performance, is a dance form based in the Black and Latinx, queer, and transgender house ballroom scene. Voguing is based in posing, runway walking, and dramatic or theatric movements. Voguing has three main styles: Old Way Vogue, defined by hard lines, stoic poses, and confident presentations. New Way Vogue, like Old Way, but with quick movements and extreme stretches. Vogue Femme, a softer or crazier feminized version of the dance. So, a little bit on the history. While the house ballroom scene was started by pioneer Crystal LaBeija as a rejection of the drag balls in the late 1960s that favored white drag queens instead of queens of color, voguing had a different start. Voguing was started as a dance called Poses, Poses, and More Poses by pioneer Paris Dupree in 1969 at the first house balls. Voguers had to reenact model poses from fashion magazines to the music of disco remix and remixes in a beautiful flow of improvised choreography. Today, Vogue Femme is the more popular form of voguing, which was created by transgender women, femme queens, after 1991. These women infuse their dancing with extreme feminine sensuality in order to define and concretize their style in the house ballroom scene. Houses. It's about creating family. So, we talked a lot about the house ballroom scene, but what are houses? Houses are chosen family, first created for LGBTQ children of young adults who were rejected by their biological families. Houses are collectives of people with similar interests, often attached to the house ballroom scene or urban LGBTQ plus arts. Houses are not necessarily bound to a specific location, home, or building. Houses are led by a father or a mother with children to follow and grow. For example, the legendary House of Lorraine International is based in Chicago, with chapters of the house in California, Australia, Florida, Brazil, Texas, Italy, Nevada, New York, Florida, and Atlanta. But if we talk about Vogue, we probably need to talk about Madonna. So Madonna's Vogue is often the first name, or Madonna herself is often the first name people think of when referring to Vogue. But she did not invent it. Instead, she took the dance form to the world entertainment stage. From the underground drag balls, house ballroom scene, and nightlife clubbing of New York City. It is important to note that voguing in Madonna's 1990 video was choreographed by legendary icons Jose and Luis Extravaganzas of the Royal House of Extravaganza. The two choreographers remain active members of the house ballroom scene today. Vogue and popular culture. Pop stars such as Fergie, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Ariana Grande, and Megan Thee Stallion continue to use voguing and voguers to create, build, direct, dance in, and choreograph their performances. Unfortunately, many voguers and other artists of the house ballroom scene are not credited for their work, creativity, or culture that contribute to the popular culture. So, while major cultural influences come from the house ballroom scene, the voguers themselves tend to stay underground and secret. in their own community to safeguard their efforts. Balls today. Today, balls take place all over the world, primarily in cosmopolitan areas. While anyone can walk, compete in, or participate in a ball, their location and details are mostly shared through word of mouth, with some level of secrecy, and walking requires training. The best way to see and understand a ball is to watch the now televised version Ball Culture via HBO Max's Legendary. So, what are the elements of Vogue? While the dance form of voguing varies from location to location, from house to house, from country to country, from one way to theta, there are certain movements, also known as elements, that remain the same, which are hands performance, catwalk, duckwalk, dips, floor performance, and spins. Hands performance. Taken from various forms of Asian dance, pantomime, and Africanist and indigenous storytelling. Hand performance focuses on the movements and dramatic imagery of the hands in relation to each other and the body. Their goal is to have the hands and arms move to the music playing while the rest of the body remains relatively still. Raving hand movements, movements forms such as the figure eight, urban tutting, and bone breaking are all forms of hands performance. The catwalk. A catwalk is similar to the walking down the runway, as fashion models do, but it is much more stylized. One must move forward, with arms moving often in counterpoint to the legs. Duckwalk. The duckwalk is like the catwalk, in that the voguer locomotively moves forward, except the voguer must be in a tight squat position rather than in a standing or walking position. While there are many versions of the duckwalk, this element is characterized by the dramatic movements of the hands with the high energy of hips and legs as a means to taunt or demonstrate a dancer's strength. Dips. Dips can also be called inversions and are any move that leads to a final pose in which one's head is low to the ground and the other parts of the body are lifted vertically. The most common dip leads to a position where the voguer is on their back with one leg tucked back and the other one raised vertically. Sometimes the back is arched as well, and the crown of the head barely kisses the floor. Floor performance. Floor performance is anything one does on the ground. Often, this element is filled with poses on the ground, rolling, kneeling, and large fan kicks. Moving through different positions on the ground is very important to voguing, just as much as standing poses and positions are. Spins. Spins are turning one's body around 360 degrees. In voguing, voguers will spin multiple times as a way to escape or lead into another element or into other elements. Spins may not always stay in one place or keep one position, but morph and evolve as the voguer turns around. Ovalness. Love yourself. The most important aspect of voguing is fabulosity, self-fashioning, or self-creation. You must love who you are in order to vogue. Voguers put all of themselves into movement to express their feelings, stories, and personalities. Voguing is pretty much a kinetic self-portrait. From the fashion they wear, makeup, and the movements they make, voguers are showing you, expressing to you, telling you who they are and that they love themselves. Overness is a complete feeling, presentation, and performance of oneself to a personal perfection in love. Overness is necessary for good voguing. So vogue with me. Now that you have a basic understanding of voguing, it's time for you to vogue with me and follow the dance video tutorials to experience voguing in your body. But before you do that, please find a piece of paper and write down why you love yourself, what you value in your life, what are you grateful for, what energy you or feeling you feel today, and what energy you want to express through your dancing and voguing. After you fill out your piece of paper, you'll be ready to vogue with me. You have to be mentally prepared. Thank you. And if you want to do further research on voguing, or you want some resources for further exploration of voguing in the House Ballroom Scene, please visit the House Ballroom Scene history with Icon Niambi Prodigy at www.learnyourhistory.net. You can also find Vogue tutorials with star Gravity Balmain on YouTube, on his YouTube page. And lastly, if you're in Southern California, you can always take Vogue classes with Reach LA. For more information, visit www.reachla.org.